Hey guys, so before I start this video, I just wanted to let you guys know that this video was filmed before the big announcement that Hasbro is actually purchasing the entire Power Rangers franchise. I just thought I should acknowledge it considering it's a pretty major detail that's left out, but overall I'm looking at it pretty positively, and I feel like Hasbro will be dedicated to the brand. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. Hey guys, it's Daniel James, and today we're going to be talking about Power Rangers in general. The reason why I wanted to make a Power Rangers related video and come out of my little slumber was because Saban Brands recently made pretty big announcements pertaining to the franchise as a whole, and I just really wanted to discuss my thoughts and opinions and I guess my initial reaction to all the news that came out recently. Before I continue, I just want to remind you guys to please click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this. Let's just start with the first thing that they really announced. Saban and Nickelodeon announced that Nickelodeon will be Power Rangers' home for the next 3 years after Super Ninja Steel wraps up by the end of this year. And of course, immediately after, there were mixed reactions because a lot of people feel that Nickelodeon should no longer have the airing rights to Power Rangers because of how poorly Nickelodeon treats it. I get why people feel that way, but Nickelodeon is the best possible home Power Rangers could have in terms of it prospering and it existing for years in the future. And I know people are going to say in the comments, oh, you know, what about Netflix? The big thing that people constantly bring up is Netflix, and I get it. Netflix is huge, streaming is becoming more and more popular. The most popular streaming service is Netflix. Netflix could possibly add to the budget, could promote it maybe a little bit better, but at the end of the day, I think Nickelodeon is Power Rangers' best bet, and I'm going to explain to you why before I get shot down. Even though Nickelodeon does pretty much give Power Rangers the bare minimum, Power Rangers on Nickelodeon has basically had a pretty stable time slot. It's been 12 o'clock in the afternoon every Saturday pretty much for its entire time running, except if I remember correctly earlier on when Samurai premiered on a Monday night when they tried to air new episodes on Sunday, but primarily it's been Saturdays at 12. Yes, the advertising is pretty iffy. They don't air on the new next episode of Power Rangers blah 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 and give you a little preview of the episode. The advertisement sort of falls onto Saban's lap, which really isn't fair, but Nickelodeon does give you those generic promos and those generic commercials that really don't get updated too often, and yes, that's a negative, but at least it's getting kind of advertised. Does Nickelodeon treat Power Rangers like a stepchild? Absolutely, but you have to keep in mind that Power Rangers is a third-party show. They're obviously going to favor SpongeBob and Henry Danger and Loud House and all those other shows over Power Rangers. That's just how it is. Another downside to them putting it exclusively on Netflix is that Power Rangers is basically made to sell toys, and new toys are introduced on almost a weekly basis. The Rangers get a new Zord, a new weapon, a new power-up, a new villain shows up. I just can't picture Saban wanting to advertise all those toys in one punch like Netflix usually does. People could decide to finish the entire show in a week, or a day, or hours. I'm pretty sure they can't release all the weapons, all the Zords, all the power-up toys within 1 month. It needs to be drawn out. Before anybody says anything, I just want to say that I am aware of the fact that Netflix has the ability to upload a single episode per week, but that being said, I still just don't think it would be as effective. Yes, streaming is becoming more and more dominant, but we're at this time period where we're in this weird in-between, where channels really don't know how to beat streaming, and the ratings are down, but ratings are down on basically every channel because of streaming existing. I feel like, yes, eventually Power Rangers will make the jump to streaming exclusively, but not for another couple of years, until streaming basically defeats regular television. Besides Netflix, people also bring up, oh, why not Disney XD or Cartoon Network? Some people were worried that Nickelodeon would move Power Rangers to Nicktoons. I could see why people bring up Disney XD or Cartoon Network because the demographics are pretty much boys between 6 to 10 or 14. Power Rangers will not do well on Disney XD or Cartoon Network as well as it could possibly do on Nickelodeon. So I feel like Saban's decision is smart. Saban is obviously doing what decision is the most profitable. Once again, Nickelodeon is the best route to attract and reach the most people in the demographic that the show is trying to attract. Now let's go back to maybe a more current time, now that we got that out of the way. The first big announcement was the reveal of a brand new Power Rangers logo. is the first major logo change, I would say, since after the first 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin finished airing and we were introduced to Zeo. And after that, pretty much every season has used a similar logo with obviously a different looking subtitle every year. And that's finally coming to an end next year with the new season. More on that later. The logo obviously looks like it took inspiration from the Power Rangers movie logo. However, the lightning bolt looks reminiscent of the Mighty Morphin lightning bolt. Anybody who knows me personally knows that I'm really into logos and graphic designs and logo evolution, and a lot of times when companies change their logo, I'm usually really negative about it, but this time around, I'm not. I've always expected, since Saban bought Power Rangers back, that we would get a major logo change, and at this point, especially with all these new changes going on, it makes sense to sort of do a rebirth. Now, besides still having the lightning bolt, the logo is still silver, but this time around I see almost like a rainbow color going on the sides of the different letters. The only thing I really don't like about it is how, I know this sounds pretty funny, but how like straight it is. It's gonna be awkward to sort of fit the subtitle of every season on the bottom of it and make it look like it's put together like the current logo kind of does, but like I said, the new logo change really doesn't bother me. I'll get used to it. And yeah, it's kind of generic, but then again, it needs to be read. Like, you can't make the logo too complicated to the point where you can't read it. And now we're on to the next big announcement, which is definitely the biggest announcement. They announced this at Toy Fair. If you haven't heard already, Power Rangers' new toy maker is Hasbro, which is replacing Bandai, which has been Power Rangers' primary toy maker since its inception. In the press release between Bandai and Saban, it said that it was mutually agreed upon, which really interests me because it doesn't seem like that. This was a pretty huge, shocking announcement that I really didn't expect personally. And at first, I wasn't sure if I believed the headline, but then I saw official accounts were tweeting it, and I'm just like, oh, well, that's pretty interesting. This is a change that I welcome, and I'm pretty sure other fans welcome as well. Even though we were getting the Legacy line from Bandai, and that's great, and that obviously caters to the fans, Hasbro has a pretty good track record making Star Wars products, Transformers products, which are obviously around the same demographic Power Rangers is. So this is a pretty huge thing, and I'm pretty excited for it, to be quite honest. I mean, I see Hasbro toys when I walk down the aisle and look at Power Rangers stuff, and it's always impressive, and you could just think of all the possibilities. And I'm not really worried about the Legacy line not continuing, or a new version of the Legacy line coming out, because the Legacy line seemingly was inspired by Hasbro's line, Marvel Legends, which are these highly detailed figures that have a build-a-figure as well, just like the Legacy toys do. They specifically said that they do see the huge marketing potential and basically how much money they can make off of the older fans.
There are all these kids that are now adults who are fans of the brand, and we think there's a great opportunity in that fan economy to talk to the Power Ranger fan and give them the products they're looking for.
So I'm pretty confident that we're going to get a lot of Legacy-esque type products in the future. Bandai, even as a kid, has always been iffy with Power Rangers toys. They would always have pretty weird features, a lot of things that obviously weren't show accurate at all. I remember the sounds sometimes being very Sentai-esque, not really having Power Rangers type sounds, if you know what I mean. And just overall, it seems like Hasbro is the better toy maker. And what was interesting when I was reading about this was that I found out that Haim Saban, the creator of Power Rangers, and the CEO of Hasbro actually go way back in their relationship, and that definitely makes me more confident in what they could do if they start slacking off with the brand in a couple of years from now. Saban could like walk right into the CEO's office and be like, what the hell is going on, you know? So I think it's in good hands with Hasbro personally. That being said, Hasbro is not going to be the primary toy maker until spring 2019, so basically a year from now. However, I predict it being a little earlier, considering new seasons of Power Rangers usually air around February. We'll have to wait and see. But like I said, I'm super excited for this new collaboration. And last but not least, the last big announcement was what the next season will be. Now, normally we find out a little bit about this at a licensing expo in Las Vegas. I don't know when that is, but it seems like it's around this time every year, and we usually get the announcement from Power Ranger fan blogs. But Saban decided to announce this the same day they announced the Hasbro collaboration, and apparently this was announced at Hasbro's press conference at Toy Fair. Sentai fans, you have to excuse me, I don't remember the names on the top of my head. I'm a Power Ranger fan first and foremost, but I knew the train season was out. I knew Go Busters was basically out. So I just assumed that they'd be choosing from the animal season or the season that just wrapped up, the Space Zodiac season. And I knew for a fact it wasn't going to be the current season airing because they usually don't do that. The Police versus the Robbers season that they're doing, which is pretty cool and experimental. So I just accepted that based off of the rumors that it was going to be that Space Zodiac season, which just looking at the pictures and the video clips was pretty interesting, but the costumes were pretty weird looking compared to other seasons of Sentai, and I felt like that would affect it. And also the animal season had pretty ugly looking Zords. They were going for like a Minecraft theme, it seems. Not to mention, they have this really goofy looking power up, and I don't know if it would translate well in America, but then again, they could just cut it off. But anyway, what I'm trying to say here is the idea that we had for the next Power Rangers season was very different from the idea that Saban obviously had. So they announced that they're adapting Go Busters, which was pretty shocking to me and a lot of other people, but it was shocking to me specifically because I could have sworn hearing Bandai or Saban or a representative from either of those companies saying, oh, we decided to skip Go Busters because it didn't do well in Japan and we don't think the whole spy theme will do well here or something like that. So that's why I was so shocked when I heard that they were adapting that season in particular. But then after the shock, I quickly became pretty excited. I remember watching the first episode of Go Busters a couple years ago. I love the suits. I love the Zords, and I just love the overall look of the season, so I'm pretty excited that they decided to go with Go Busters. I'm also excited because it's Sentai that is inspired by Power Rangers, or at least that's what I read.
It's morphin' time! It's moving!
This is the first season to have leather suits. Their visors are different colors. Their primary team is just 3 Rangers in the beginning. And then of course it extends, but not by a lot. It's a pretty small group of Rangers this time around, so that basically forces the writers to maybe give them more character development. I feel like this season basically forces Saban to take a little bit more of a serious tone. I know it's a kid's show. Super Ninja Steel and Ninja Steel has been very heavy on the gags, especially with Victor and Monty. The show right now just seems really cartoony, like cartoony slapstick humor, which they experimented with in previous seasons like Mighty Morphin with Bulk and Skull and everything, and I get it, but just overall it just doesn't seem very focused on an overarching plot, which bothers me, and that's why I basically haven't done any Ninja Steel stuff, because I feel like everything that I'll say will be basically negative, and I don't want to be a negative person and just keep shooting out complaints and being annoying. But yeah, the future is kind of looking brighter, at least with the TV show. Hopefully they maybe change writers up. I know Chip Lynn is working on it, but he also has 2 side people that are writing as well, and they seem to basically take the wheel with Ninja Steel, and it isn't going well. From what I see, other fans my age are really not enjoying it. It seems like something that kids could exclusively enjoy. And Power Rangers seem to be able to attract older fans as well with their seasons, and with Ninja Steel and Super Ninja Steel, they seem to not be able to do it. They also revealed the logo for the new season as well as the name. It's called Power Rangers Beast Morphers. These names lately, I mean, Ninja Steel, Beast Morph, they just seem like really weird names. I just wish that they would go back to like normal names like Samurai. Since Megaforce, we haven't been getting like really good names. But you know, I'll give it a chance. The logo is pretty cool looking, but once again, it sort of looks awkward underneath the new Power Rangers logo. I'm just used to Power Rangers and its subtitle being sort of put together and looking really nice and neat, I guess. Bottom subtitle is this little small thing. I don't know what they're going for. The synopsis for Beast Morphers is pretty interesting as well. And of course, this new season premieres next year, 2019, probably like February 2019 on Nickelodeon, so ooh. Overall, I feel like the future of Power Rangers is pretty bright just as a whole. I feel like Saban is really taking a different approach now with the series that they haven't taken since the premiere of Samurai, since getting the rights back. So this just seems like a new beginning, from the logo change, changing the toy maker, going with an unexpected choice for the next season. I feel like this is just signaling, let's try this again. Let's do something else. Maybe they're looking at the older fans and saying that we're not 100% satisfied. Obviously, they feel the need to change change it up. And from all these announcements, Hasbro is just a huge positive to me. Go Busters being adapted, Nickelodeon was a positive decision. Overall, yeah, I'm really excited for Beasts. I'm excited for the anniversary episode from Super Ninja Steel. Other than that, Super Ninja Steel does not seem to be going in a different direction. But that being said, I'm still supporting the brand, I'm still watching the show, and I'm hoping Beast Morphers will be different. You know, if you don't enjoy the show, you can always check out the comic books, which I heard are good. I hope you guys enjoyed my little video about all these huge announcements coming from Power Rangers. I know I'm excited. If you enjoy this video, once again, I'd really appreciate it if you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. If you want to be notified when I make videos, be sure to click that like button. And if you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm at blackandblue572 on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Be sure to comment your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious on what other Power Ranger fans feel about all these big changes. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!